The recent release of the Jeffrey Epstein files has sent shockwaves through the worlds of finance, politics, and technology, uncovering a web of connections that few could have imagined. While many headlines have focused on the high-profile names mentioned, a deeper dive into the documents reveals some startling links to the cryptocurrency world, specifically involving early Bitcoin proponents and stirring up old rivalries with companies like Ripple. Today, we're going to unravel these lesser-known, but incredibly significant, threads that tie one of the darkest scandals of our time to the very foundations of digital currency. What did Epstein and his associates have to do with crypto? And how does this change our understanding of the industry's early days? Let's get into it. The story really starts with a name that might not be widely known outside of crypto circles: Brock Pierce. A former child actor turned tech entrepreneur, Pierce has been a prominent and often controversial figure in the cryptocurrency space for years. He co-founded Block, the company behind the massive EOS initial coin offering, and has been involved in countless other crypto ventures. The Epstein documents link Pierce to the disgraced financier through his association with a private island venture and visits to Epstein's infamous Caribbean retreat. Now, it is crucial to state that being mentioned in these files doesn't equate to guilt of any crime. However, the connection itself raises serious questions, especially given Pierce's influence in the early Bitcoin community. To understand the gravity of this, we need to go back to the origins of the Tether stablecoin, or USDT. Brock Pierce was a co-founder of Tether, a cryptocurrency designed to be pegged one-to-one with the US dollar. Tether is now the backbone of the crypto trading world, with a market capitalization of nearly $100 billion. It facilitates trillions of dollars in transactions annually. The fact that a co-founder of such a systemically important asset is linked, even tangentially, to the Epstein network is unsettling for many in the industry. It casts a shadow over an entity that has already faced intense scrutiny regarding its reserves and operational transparency. Another key figure who appears in this narrative is Bill Richardson, the late governor of New Mexico. The Epstein files detail flights Richardson took on Epstein's private jet. What's the crypto connection here? Richardson was, for a time, an advisor to Ripple, the company behind the XRP ledger. This connection highlights a fascinating and often overlooked rivalry from the early days of crypto. While Bitcoin was emerging as a decentralized, peer-to-peer digital cash system, Ripple was positioning itself as a partner to the traditional banking and financial system. They were two different philosophies competing for the future of finance. The fact that figures associated with both camps, the early Bitcoin evangelist Brock Pierce and the Ripple-affiliated politician Bill Richardson, were both in Epstein's orbit is a strange and disturbing coincidence. It paints a picture of a time when the worlds of nascent technology, high finance, and political power were colliding in unexpected, and as we're now learning, sometimes deeply problematic ways. It seems Epstein and his network had a knack for identifying and associating with emerging sectors of power and influence, and the burgeoning crypto industry was no exception. Now, let's talk about Peter Thiel. The billionaire co-founder of PayPal and Palantir is a titan of Silicon Valley, and his name also surfaces in the Epstein files, though the context is less direct. Thiel is known for his early and significant investments in technology, including crypto companies. He has been a vocal supporter of Bitcoin, viewing it as a hedge against global financial instability and a potential challenge to traditional currencies. The documents reportedly mention meetings and interactions, again reminding us of the close-knit and sometimes overlapping circles of tech billionaires, investors, and powerful figures like Epstein. For the crypto world, Thiel's presence in these discussions is significant because he represents a bridge between the cypherpunk ideals of early Bitcoin and the mainstream institutional investment that has propelled crypto into the stratosphere. This entire situation forces the crypto community to confront some uncomfortable truths. Epstein supported more Bitcoin than Ripple and XRP, In fact, he considered Ripple XRP and JED Project Stellar as a threat to Bitcoin. Yes, it's in the files. For years, crypto has been championed as a force for decentralization, a way to break free from the corrupt and opaque systems of traditional finance. The promise was a more transparent, equitable financial world. Yet, the Epstein files suggest that at the very highest levels, the same old patterns of power, influence, and questionable associations were present from the very beginning. It suggests that some of the very people building this new system were, at the same time, moving in circles defined by the worst aspects of the old one. This isn't just about individual names or companies. It's about the culture of the early crypto scene. It was a Wild West environment, fueled by massive amounts of newly created wealth and a libertarian anti-regulation ethos. This environment may have made it a fertile ground for characters like Epstein, who thrived in unregulated spaces where power and money intersected. The revelations challenge the sanitized origin story that many in the crypto world prefer to tell. The reality, it seems, was far messier and more compromised. Let's circle back to the Ripple connection. The rivalry between Ripple and the more decentralized parts of the crypto community, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, has always been fierce. Ripple was often criticized for being centralized and for working with the very banks that Bitcoin was designed to replace. Seeing a Ripple-affiliated figure like Bill Richardson connected to the Epstein network, alongside an early Bitcoin figure like Brock Pierce, adds a strange new layer to this old feud. It almost suggests that, despite their public philosophical differences, key players from both sides were swimming in the same murky waters of elite power brokerage. What are the potential consequences of these revelations? For one, it could lead to even greater regulatory scrutiny. Regulators who are already skeptical of the crypto industry will now have more ammunition. They can point to these connections as evidence that the industry lacks the maturity and ethical grounding to police itself. This could accelerate the push for stricter anti-money laundering laws, know your customer regulations, and greater transparency for crypto companies, especially stablecoin issuers like Tether. It also serves as a critical moment of reflection for the crypto community itself. Can an industry dedicated to transparency and trust continue to elevate figures with documented links to such a sordid scandal? It forces a difficult conversation about who the community chooses as its leaders and representatives. The move fast and break things ethos of Silicon Valley, when applied to finance and combined with a lack of ethical oversight, can lead to dangerous associations and compromises. The community now has to decide whether it wants to clean house or continue to look the other way. This story also highlights the importance of independent journalism and investigation in the crypto space. For too long, the narrative has been controlled by hype cycles, influencers, and company marketing. It's the work of journalists digging into court documents and connecting the dots that brings these uncomfortable truths to light. Without them, we would have a much rosier and far less accurate picture of the industry's history. So where do we go from here? This story is still unfolding. As more information from the Epstein files is analyzed, we may uncover even more connections to the world of technology and cryptocurrency. For investors and enthusiasts, it is a stark reminder to do your own research and to be critical of the narratives presented to you. Understand the history of the projects you invest in and the people behind them. The promise of a decentralized future is powerful, but it is not immune to the corruption and moral failures of the human beings who are building it. The links between the Epstein network, early Bitcoin pioneers, and Ripple's sphere of influence are more than just a historical curiosity. They are a warning. They show that no industry, no matter how revolutionary its technology, is immune to the corrupting influence of unchecked power and wealth. As the crypto industry continues to mature and integrate into the global financial system, it must reckon with its past, confront these difficult truths, and commit to a future built on genuine transparency and integrity, not just the illusion of it. This is a defining moment, and how the community responds will say a lot about its future. Thank you for watching. It's a complex and disturbing topic, and we've only scratched the surface today. If you found this analysis valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of crypto and finance. And be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about what this means for the future of the industry. Stay safe and stay informed.